Now, I love dinosaurs as much as everyone else, and I'm sure that you love dinosaurs more than me for even clicking on this video. So name 20 dinosaurs right now. Do it. With the new Jurassic movie out, but not so new when I release this video, I decided what better time to catch up on every single Jurassic Park movie and world. Albeit, the only Jurassic Park I remember was the first ever one. That is the one I rewatched the most, and that one, and the first Jurassic World movie, which I did watch as a child. Well, I watched all of these as a child, and I haven't watched them since. I also just wanted to see how well these movies aged or did not age well for myself. I am about 20 years late into making this video, and I'm pretty sure I lost all my dinosaur toys into the abyss, and my dinosaur knowledge apparently. I know nothing about dinosaurs and have not gotten back into them since I was, well, as I mentioned, a toddler. So if you were going to correct me over names, know that you are bullying someone who is inept about dinosaurs, and there is a power imbalance between us, me and you. You know, there is a power imbalance here. You know more about dinosaurs than I do. Now back to the video, which is just an excuse for me to rewatch dinosaurs do their thing.
Oh yeah, ooh, that's how it always starts. But then later there's running and screaming.
And into the movies. Welcome to Jurassic Park. It wouldn't be a Jurassic Park video without that iconic line. Not sorry. This movie really has a magical feel and always brings you back when you were a kid, and if you never watched this as a kid, well, it still brings you back there. It makes you truly feel like you're a dinosaur. The first time these characters see the dinosaurs, it really is special. I mean, you really feel like you're pulled out of real life and pushed into this fairy tale of dinosaurs. Okay, yeah, I'm done with that bit. The movie does have a few inconsistencies and plot holes for sure, like the massive wall for the T-Rex and how in the world did it just walk out of there? Or how the children couldn't just crawl through the electric fence. But we ignore all that for the Jurassic movies because this is the best the plot holes are going to get. So we do start off with a more simple premise with the plot mostly taking place in Isla Nublar. And I gotta say, it builds up the raptors so well with the intro of the movie, concealing the animals so that we only see its eyeball and killing one of the guys, making the ending a lot more terrifying than it would have been. Okay, I'm trying to explain the basic plot elements to you, build up, you know all that. I just really enjoyed the whole raptor element of the movie. They really clawed my excitement. So we start with Alan Grant and his girl Ellie. Let's take a step forward and plot how they got such iconic characters in the film. Just keep that in mind. When you think of the series, you think of all the characters in the first movie, or Chris Pratt, but that's different. There's a reason you think of the characters here, and that's because they are really engaging and fun characters to watch on screen, and they have really big arcs, nice rounded arcs. Like Alan Grant's really hating kids at the start of the movie, and then him really wanting kids by the end, which I guess goes somewhere, or nowhere, kind of. Man. Anyway, great characters all around, from Dr. Malcolm to Mr. DNA. Dr. Malcolm also has so many great lines. A lot of the characters have some iconic lines in the movie. In Malcolm's case, we get to see him get put out of action halfway through the movie, which has nothing to do with the lines, by the way. But I just love that he just, halfway through the movie, he gets hit, and then we get that iconic shirtless sex appeal scene, and he just kind of talks through a walkie-talkie, and that's about it. He is my favorite character. Oh, and Samuel Jackson was in this movie. I actually forgot. To be fair, his off-screen death didn't help. This isn't really a recap, but I assume you all have seen the movie. Obviously, it's the first movie. Everyone's seen Jurassic Park, right? Dinosaurs come back to life from this scientific engineering and mosquitoes, and they are hatched in a lab in Isla Nublar for now. They kind of recon that in the future, but it's possible they use 2 islands. It makes room for more dinosaurs, I guess. But we're just gonna stick with the 1 island for now. The main villains of the story is investors and lawyers, of course. They suck. Well, if you actually think more on it, the main villain is science and the possible man-made horror. That's at least how I interpret it, and that lawyers are bad once again. I mean, it's a message for kids, right? I mean, it's a children's movie. That they hit you over the head with it. That we should not be creating stuff that shouldn't be alive now, or reorder the evolutionary stages of humanity. Oh, and greed, always greed. They quite literally have an Oppenheimer picture in the background of some shots, symbolizing how Dr. Hammond felt by the end of the movie. So this isn't that big of a stretch. So science is the bad guy of the movie. Well, not the normal science, but like the bad science, mad scientist shit. Also raptors and T-Rex, but I assumed those were included. The Jurassic Park itself is great and turns this film into a more literal amusement park ride, which honestly makes this film a lot more unique than a lot of movies. It's a literal amusement park ride. It takes us through the ride of Jurassic Park, and obviously that doesn't work out, but that's what this is, an amusement park ride with something to say. I know people mention this a lot, but Steven Spielberg made this back-to-back with Schindler's List, absolute peak Spielberg era and complete whiplash of movies back-to-back. I think he needed Jurassic Park to distract himself a little from the other one. I certainly missed out on that era because I didn't exist yet. The practical effects of the movie is obviously the highlight of the movie, making the Jurassic World feel a lot more real. So I really do appreciate the practical practical works of this film and how much heart it gave. I love dinosaurs, but I love realistic looking dinosaurs more. They also mentioned dino cloning. Does that mean we'll see clone humans eventually? I will actually choke myself, by the way. I don't know. I think if someone were to clone me, I would finally understand how annoying I am. The most humbled anyone could ever humble. Tangent. Anyway, this movie had some pretty neat kills. I wasn't really attached to anyone that the movie killed off. I don't think you were meant to, but they still killed off enough to make the movie tense and left a lot to your imagination. Even the kills were iconic, like the toilet kill, the Dilophosaurus kill. I also think this movie might have a thing against lawyers. It also takes around 1 hour for the movie to get truly suspenseful, which makes sense. There's a lot of build up and setting up the world of this Jurassic Park and establishing our characters, perfectly balancing the tone and pacing of the movie. Okay, you get it. You get attached to the characters and you're scared they die. That's how movies work. I like the movie a lot, and I would be lying if this movie weren't nostalgic to me. This movie also reminded me that Pirates of the Caribbean was an amusement park ride first before it became a movie series. That made me feel a little stupid, but I've never been to any studio amusement parks before. Besides the fact that the T-Rex couldn't win pushing its head against a window with teeny tiny little children pushing against it, or couldn't chase after a slow moving vehicle, which is, yeah, but it's dinosaurs, alright? Every T-Rex scene is still tense and fun because you care about everyone, and because the atmosphere is set up so well. With you first seeing this T-Rex in a spooky storm environment with thunder, which I'm sure was to cover the CGI, but I'm sure they won't keep doing that. The T-Rex with its iconic roar and look, it's not even the final obstacle or even the main one. No, we don't see those until 1 hour and 44 minutes of the movie with the Velociraptors. The scariest obstacle in this movie because we get to see how smart they are, something about them not doing the same thing twice, I don't know. And I lied about not killing the good guys. Those guys kill off Samuel L. Jackson and the Velocihunter. I love the mini horror film at the end that this film ends up building up to, at least for the children. Of course, this movie ends with a dinosaur battle. It was very quick, it wasn't the focus of the movie with the T-Rex fighting against the raptors. It has the iconic shot of the T-Rex standing in the middle of the dinosaur museum replacing the skeleton T-Rex, symbolism for dinosaurs replacing the old fossils, which is cinema. Honestly, I've never seen anything like it. That shot is ingrained into my brain. I sound really pretentious, but I love this movie already, and I just can't praise it enough. As a child, this movie was truly addicting to watch, and it still really holds up as the dinosaur movie. It has everything. It has something to say, practical dinos, great characters, greater lines. It was a perfect dinosaur movie to me, and it has some flaws and plot holes, but it's about dinosaurs coming back to life and engineered in the 1990s. So to me, it's a perfect dinosaur movie and has so much of the heart it's going for. And I also don't really think Spielberg cared for the plot holes since he was also making a teeny tiny project, Schindler's List back to back. This movie works so well as a standalone movie that you'd never have to watch any other Jurassic Park movie. But of course, it was super successful, and dinosaurs obviously are going to make a lot of money, so you can't really blame them for making more dinosaur movies. I mean, look at all the rip-off Jurassic movies. All the nostalgia aside, and to shorten this video, it's an amazing movie, but you already knew that. You came into this video knowing that I'd give this movie a really high rating, and the highest of praises. Everyone loves Jurassic Park. If you don't care about all the talking, I think this movie is a 10 as a Jurassic Park movie, and I got what I came for. As a movie in general, I'd give it a 9. I reserved the 10s, so don't feel too bad about the general score. I probably won't give my score to all of them since it isn't a ranking video, but a marathon watch. So, next movie. I finally found it. Welcome to Jurassic Park. What the fuck is... One extra thing, since I didn't really talk more about the idea of Jurassic Park as a whole. It's so simple of an idea to have a zoo, but dinosaurs. In a hypothetical world where dinosaurs were living among us, I would probably go to one of these islands and die and get eaten by the dumbest looking dinosaur. That being said, that can be said about... Actually, that could be said about current animals in the wild, actually. Yeah, but what I'm saying is that I'm very fascinated by any animal, and from insects to dinosaurs. But yeah, the zoo thing for dinosaurs is such a cool idea. I think one of the upcoming ones has an actual functional zoo for dinosaurs. And to be honest with you, I don't even like the idea of zoos that much since most of the animals are kind of not treated well, but I respect zoos that are really good with the animals. I just don't think most animals can be domesticated. But hey, who knows, right? We domesticated a wolf. In a hypothetical universe, we might have had people who tried to domesticate a T-Rex. My point being, I'm so fascinated by the idea of the concept. But this movie serves as a lesson and common sense fighting against childlike wonders to why you should not have mutated dinosaurs enclosed, or just at all. Also, this movie speaks a lot about the whole your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could. They didn't stop to think if they should line. This doesn't apply to scientists yet, since I don't think we're there yet for technology. I mean, science-wise. But as for technology, I mean, take that as you will.
That's what we're supposed to be looking at.
It's a dinosaur.
Bro, we spent like 20 minutes looking for something just for a little ass turtle to spawn.
It's a dinosaur. It's not a...
Look, there's a worm.
Yeah. There's a worm? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, look, there's a worm.
It's a parasite, bro. It came out from
Yeah, it's a parasite.
What the hell is that bird?
Yeah, they're both chilling.
It's a pterodactyl. The Lost World. With this title, I was expecting us to go to a whole different dimension, you know, travel the multiverse, go to the center of the earth, or go to Agatha. Yeah, you know, you never know. But no, that we just go to a different island this one, meaning we also get new dinosaurs, or it's the other way around. Well, it's an island where they hatch dinosaurs, which is kind of a retcon, because I think they hatched the dinosaurs in the first island. How many dinosaurs were they making before testing the whole thing out? This movie's also quite different from the last one in tone and obviously area, just the whole thing, which is nice. A series would have to evolve. Same thing goes for dinosaurs. We have a few surprises. We have my favorite character, Dr. Ian Malcolm, as the protagonist. He is more of a grumpy dad and boyfriend in this movie, and hardened since the last time we saw him. At least for about the first half of the movie, then he becomes kind of a joke. He just does one-liners for the rest of the movie, and that's about his whole personality. He kind of just forgets why he's there, but that's fine. He's funny. He's a funny guy. But let's just get this out of the way. I was afraid to get into the sequels because I didn't want my childhood to be ruined. But this one was pretty fun to watch. The dinosaurs were still pretty magical and cool. Instead of focusing on more of the dangers of science and dinosaurs, we get to focus more on animal cruelty, I guess, which could work as a dinosaur concept. So that's all right. I think animal cruelty is definitely the theme of this movie. Right? I have like media literacy to like the maximum. So first off, we get an acknowledgement of the characters of the previous movie, mainly Director Hammond and the two kids, which I was very surprised to see again, even if it's just for one scene. Also, why did the main Jurassic Park theme play during their conversation? They could have reserved it a little until they got to the plane. Come on. They literally play it again during like the moment they get to the other island. They start flying, reminiscing the first movie. Makes sense, right? Parallels and stuff. But they just play it at the end of their big conversation. Is it because we know Dr. Hammond? Is Dr. Hammond the Jurassic Park theme? I don't know why that kind of stuff irks me. But moving on. And of course, a cast of new characters besides our guy Malcolm. I don't understand what Ian's kid was doing in Dino Island, or even how she got in without getting noticed, but I get it. These movies have to have children in them, so you get to feel a little bit more. You care, right? You're scared for the children. But wait, let me take that back. They kind of subvert that with this child just not being helpless at all. You know, kicking the Velociraptor out the window is not helpless.
He's gonna say some corny shit like, and they kicked you off the team.
Oh god, no.
School cut you from the team?
That's when I knew these movies were getting sillier and sillier as we go on. I just didn't know how silly, but so far this movie's great. Before we get into the more plot stuff, I gotta say, Ian's girlfriend's absolutely miserable to watch. She is horrible to watch on screen. She isn't even the antagonist of the film, but she's more of just a catalyst and the reason pulling Ian into the whole thread of events. But she is so annoying to watch. She's the most hypocritical about touching dinosaurs, and I remember less and less. But I remember she annoyed me and dragged her boyfriend to reface his PTSD island. I just did not like her character at all. It just... yeah. She's supposed to be a good person too, like caring about these dinosaurs, and it's like, oh, that's sweet. And then she speaks. The actual main villain is InGen for the first time, the first of many times. The individual villains are fine. I mostly remember the guy abusing the tiny little dinosaurs, the compies, the campies. I forgot their dinosaur names. Only to get pecked apart by them or ripped apart by them, which is honestly one of the best deaths in the entire franchise and 100% the best death of this movie. Imagine being pecked to death by the little critters. I think an infant meets that fate in the book, or a pregnant woman. I'm not sure. For obvious reasons that was not in the movie. Anyway, I don't remember any names besides the main ones, so bear with me as I show them on screen. As for the dinosaurs, we get more dinosaurs, so that's nice. We don't really see a carnivore dinosaur until 55 minutes into the movie, not counting the whole intro with the critters and the child. I don't think the movie flows as well as the first one in terms of pacing. Okay, I'm talking like movie critic language here. It was just, some parts really bored me in terms of exposition. I'm doing it again. I think the exposition isn't as fun, and it's a lot more jammed to your face in the first bit of the movie. But I mean, we aren't using theme park aesthetics anymore, so it sets in the tone of a more serious, more mature movie. I mean, kind of. But once we see our T-Rex, there's two big ones, because it's the second movie. Ignore the baby and throw it into the third movie to balance it out. We'll call it Jurassic Abortion. Speaking of this really cool and intense scene with the parent T-Rexes pushing the van around, the bald guy got such an upsetting death because I actually liked that guy and he sacrificed himself, and I love that. I'm pretty sure this is one of the only movies that kills off a character I like. So good for you, Jurassic Park: The Lost World, made in 1997. Maybe you aren't so lost after all. I just think this movie has a lot of really cool deaths, and it's a movie that's doing way more than it has to. But hey, I'm not a movie expert, and I really like this movie. The raptors appear around 1 hour and 28 minutes into the movie, which is about right. That's 2 for 2 that they save the raptors until the end, and that's great. The raptors were always going to be really spooky, and their buildup was insane, like killing the people in the fields, until one gets knocked out the window and it became way less scary. But they don't really show up after that, and they fight each other. Certainly an interesting element they built up throughout the movie was that she was a gymnast for some reason, and Brooke predicting what Malcolm was going to say afterwards is pretty funny. Speaking of Malcolm, he does get a weird character change halfway through the movie, which is why I stopped talking about him. He just stopped talking and like a normal person at all. He became the person he was in the first bit of Jurassic Park 1. Like I mentioned earlier, he is just not the same character. But yeah, I love Ian Malcolm still. You know, this does not change my opinion on him. He's still a great character. Jeff Goldblum plays him to a T, and I forgive him because he's played by Jeff Goldblum, and despite his Marvel lines, it's still really fun to watch. Then they go to the old park facility, which isn't the same park, but it's supposed to be reminiscent. I thought that was a nice touch, but we didn't need that. That was the one part of the movie I was like, we did not need this at all. Then the movie kind of just ends, and then they stop the bad guys on the island, and it's over. Then another movie starts, which was definitely for the marketing. I didn't exist back then, but it's 100% for the marketing. And they wanted to capitalize on the Godzilla money or kaiju money. I didn't do any research on that, so correct my rambling if you will. I'll no longer warn you of my misinformation since you've stayed long enough to know. So the kaiju dinosaur act happens, and as goofy as it was my favorite part of the whole movie. I mean, they gave us what we wanted. Just a T-Rex rampaging throughout the city and San Diego, and they gave like every child what they wanted, just to watch T-Rex wreak havoc in a city. They didn't even give us a good explanation how the T-Rex killed everyone on the boat or even got out in the first place. Maybe canonically this T-Rex was smarter than the velociraptors. Could be true. It was a little dumb, but we get to have a T-Rex in San Diego. Come on now. That's like a normal Tuesday or Thursday for them, or Monday. The whole sequence was unbelievable. Like, I just did not believe the scene at all. Which is weird that I didn't buy this as much as dinosaurs come back to life after millions of years. But I've always loved monster movies, whether it's giant monsters destroying the cities, or monsters hunting people, or monsters saving people. So I really love that nod to Godzilla, just the dinosaur just chasing after a fucking bus. I don't know if that was the case or if that was their intention or not, but them panning to the Japanese people during the T-Rex rampage in the city had to have been a Godzilla nod. Otherwise, this makes me look bad. I didn't really like the main villain as much. They were pathetic, and the one villain I actually was feeling towards got pecked to death really early, so there isn't much there, and not nearly as charming or as iconic as the previous villain, who also died earlier than I thought he would. The guy. But I like the way he died here, the main villain, with broken legs, just like how he left the baby T-Rex. The main villain being paralyzed, but a T-Rex shows some clear parallels to real life, I assume, with how humans treat animals. Yeah, this movie has more flaws than the last one, but it was very fun. It was very fun to watch. It was a cash grab, yeah, but I enjoyed this cash grab a lot more than I thought it would. So 8 out of 10.
The dinosaur number 2 over here. Look at that. Dinosaur number 2. It's a little guy.
Bro's literally just sleeping. He's chilling.
They're all just sleeping. Is there anything in the water? No, there's nothing in there. Look, it's
You got reverse on that.
the megalodon. It's another
Megalodon.
megalodon.
Is that? What the fuck is that over there? 4 flippers.
Oh yeah, what the fuck? Oh, that's the dog. Oh look, it's the Kestrel. I mean the fucking beavers, guys. Beavers. The what?
Already you can tell this is going to be a much shorter movie with a runtime of 1 hour and 32 minutes. I know this is one of the most least liked ones despite not knowing any reviews. I've unfortunately seen the Rotten Tomatoes for these while searching for the runtime. I kind of hate knowing the reviews, or at least the ratings of stuff, before I watch the movie, because I will either try to find a reason to like or dislike it, and it just ruins my whole experience. Which sounds extremely stupid, I know, but I promise it's not my fault. So I try to avoid reviews or anything before doing these to get my just complete opinions, or just gaslight myself and pretend I never saw it in the first place, and I just force my own. Okay, the movie. It takes place in Isla Sorna, the same place as the second movie, and already you can tell it's very reminiscent of the early 2000s and late 90s type of movie. The cold opening was alright. It wasn't that memorable. I completely forgot about it before watching this movie, which is hilarious because it's the whole driving plot point. I think it's the scene with the kid and the parachute. For some reason, he's not with his family. They give a reason for that, but I completely forgot about it.
Something just happened.
But after that, we get to the actual main characters, Alan Grant, and I thought Ellie, but Ellie only had a scene or two. Which is a shame, because I guess as a kid, I thought she was in this movie a lot more than she actually was, because going back to this movie years after, I just was really shocked how she was not in the movie at all, basically, and just a shell of herself, and they never got together, which is even more of a shame, and because of that, the whole beginning was just a bummer, and also showing more of Alan Grant's trauma from the Jurassic Park movie, which makes sense, yeah. So the main family group of the movie trying to find their son sort of schemes him and Billy together. Billy, whom's the actual like second main character for a while, and then until he wasn't again, and turned out to be okay with injuries. Sure, why not? Billy the Invincible. And the couple that don't get along too well, but is fixed by the end because they bond with their child, something like that. Gotta say, the wife was extremely annoying, just screaming out into the open with the, you know, the island filled with dinosaurs. Actually, a lot of the characters were just purposely annoying. It becomes like a slasher monster flick. It's even got the same runtime as one, and their child becomes a super survivalist. I thought that was really interesting. It's not realistic whatsoever, but I thought it was interesting to have the kid just be a... It reminded me of the kid from Iron Man 3, and it's pretty fun having the kid just be a dinosaur Tarzan. It's a lot more believable once you take into silly dialogue. Only reason I'm fine with that is because the movie just does not take itself too seriously. I mean, from the get-go, it has a dream raptor saying Grant's name, Alan. And because of its runtime, the movie's also extra speedy. So we get to our first carnivore in the first 22 minutes in, and I have no idea why I'm marking these, but we also meet the raptors 40 minutes in. Treating the dinosaurs like horror villains was also really cool in this movie, except for you. You kind of sucked in this movie. This girl only had 20 seconds of screen time, but when we see the raptor faking being frozen, it was tense and an awesome scene. Same with the pterodactyl. Those birds were actually terrifying in this movie. And you know what? I'll give it to this movie. They knew how to make dinosaurs really scary and intimidating. And the biggest example of this was the spinosaurus. It made these creatures cool for the first time, and it's honestly my favorite dinosaur of the whole franchise. This one Spinosaurus had such a horror movie slasher presence. It was great seeing it wreak havoc every time it appeared. I just had a soft spot for this creature, and I loved every second of it. I enjoyed this movie the same way I enjoyed Halloween 3 or Halloween 2. Not that it's a bad thing, but it made me realize that we're never achieving Jurassic Park levels of movie ever again in this franchise. But that's okay. My favorite scene has to be the whole pterodactyl scene. The foggy atmosphere was new and intense, and a set piece that was just such a standout in the whole movie. I loved every second of it. The rest of the movie was kind of dumb though, and most of the characters I didn't really care for except for Alan and Billy and the kid. But I just don't enjoy seeing children die. My critical side makes me want to dislike this movie, but my heart had a lot of fun watching it. And it had my favorite dinosaur. Look at that, we all came for the dinosaur munching on people, right? The dinosaur experience, the dinosaur Rogan experience. Unfortunately, this movie also has a dino boss and a thunderstorm at the end, just like the other ones. But on the bright side, the Spinosaurus boss didn't die at the end. Then the movie ends with some raptors and the fucking military on the shore. To wrap it up quickly, this movie was all dumb fun. I really enjoyed it a lot. It had a lot of stupid decisions and an aura-filled Spinosaurus. And believe it or not, I actually liked this movie a lot more than Lost World in terms of enjoyability. I had a lot more fun with this one. And I lied about the best scene in the movie. I think the cell phone ringing and the Spinosaurus appearing, that's the scene I remember when I think about this movie. So yeah, it's really great. I think it's better than Lost World. And my rating is gonna be Spinosaurus out of 10 because it's just favorite dinosaur. It has it all.
Dinosaur. Is this the boy? You guys get it? It's a SpongeBob reference. I kind of only came here for ducks. This is really low quality, but we'll bear with it. It's just a little. Oh.
So it's been over 10 years since this movie has been released now, and that makes me feel really weird. I don't know why, I don't remember it being 10 years old. So I remember when this movie came out 10 years ago, I guess. I really liked this movie. I liked this movie as a kid. I even had the indominusrex toy, so that was fun. It made a little noise. That being said, I was looking forward to seeing all this again and to see how I'd feel about it now that I rewatched it as a grown adult. And well, no one's impressed by a dinosaur anymore. For some reason, out of all the nonsensical shit I've heard in all these movies combined, this line really irritated me. Just getting that on my system. People just don't stop giving a shit about dinosaurs. We literally have jobs about finding dinosaur fossils and museums. And now because they came back to life and it's lame and boring, out of every other thing they could have pulled, they chose that one. Enough of that though. That line was enough to make me just not as on board as I thought it would be. Just straight out of the gate, just immediately with that line in like the first bit of the movie, I was just like, what the fuck is this? That would be nitpicking and that's not cool. I think the whole concept is super cool with an actual working amusement park for dinosaurs. 15 years since the last dinosaur incident. I mean, they have the budget and technology now to show it all. I really wanted to see the two brothers survive dinosaurs and let the background do its thing, because to be honest, I didn't really care for the actual main characters of the movie, the adults, Owen and the lady. And what I got was a million product placements and the Mercedes being the most memorable part of the movie for me. For some reason, this movie was the one where the product placement bothered. I don't know how I messed that word up, but yeah, bothered. Usually it's like really hidden in the background. I don't really care, but this one was so just in my face that I just had to talk about it. And for some reason, Jimmy Fallon, which I rolled my eyes at. I think it's just a me thing though. Every time like a talk show host shows up, I just roll my eyes. The only one that gets away with this is fucking Conan O'Brien. He's the only one that gets away with it because he's actually funny. The rest of them is just like, okay, how much were you paid? But hey, Mr. DNA is back. That's a plus. I love Mr. DNA. Sorry, I really want to like this movie a lot. I did really adore this movie as a kid, and I didn't understand why it just felt so soulless to me this time. Did I lose all my whimsy and my excitement over time? I don't think so. I was super excited for this. I did like some aspects of this movie. The raptors being good was an interesting twist. The Motosaurus, the whale dinosaur, and it takes around like 40 minutes for the indominusrex to get its first kill, so that was a lot faster paced. The movie takes the theme park element from the first movie and starts mishmashing it and using the fact that it's an actual working park to its advantage. And the Spinosaurus is actually kind of similar to the indominusrex because they took out like a chip inside them. The Spinosaurus chatted out like an absolute chad, and the indominusrex had to scratch it out, so it's a little different. The dinosaurs fight a lot in this movie, and that's fun. I love seeing dinosaurs fight. It becomes like a monster movie, right? Like the Monsterverse movies. It has some really interesting set pieces, and the Indominus Rex is actually terrifying. It has everything I want in a Jurassic movie. It just doesn't quite hit it for me. There's nothing. I felt nothing. I felt nothing while watching it. I thought Vincent D'Onofrio was a funny InGen villain, considering he plays Kingpin, but he was kind of a nothing character and came off as more of an annoying nuisance in the movie, which is a shame because he's such a great actor. His character's death leans heavily in irony with nature being unpredictable, so I did like that. I just honestly never found InGen that interesting of a villain company or a villain group, or at least there has been no actual memorable human antagonist in the franchise besides that guy in the first movie because of the whole thing he had going on. This movie is very much just mind-numbing action fun. It is mostly fighting dinosaurs fighting each other, and I can see this one being some people's favorite movie of the franchise. As for the main dino villain, I thought she was really cool and very scary, but my heart kind of hates this, and they could have just used an actual scary real dinosaur, not Velociraptor mishmash with T-Rex. Since all these dinosaurs are engineered anyway, why not just do that? It ends up just being a super monster instead of feeling like an actual animal from the Jurassic period. And I think that's where they lost their touch a little bit. And that's not for me. I think it comes down to preference. If someone likes that, that's good for you, right? I just couldn't get into it. I do really think that the design is neat and memorable, at least. It looks cool. I really did have a toy of this thing. The third act of this movie is great and gives fans everything they want from a dinosaur movie. Mayhem and death and a lot more death. They gave us the most memorable death of all time in the Jurassic franchise. At least one of the more memorable deaths to the British lady, the babysitter. And I can't say she didn't deserve it. Okay. I was originally gonna make a British joke here, but you guys need a break. No, but seriously, that death was so brutal that it was so funny to watch. I think it was the fact that they gave the most extra death to one of the more innocent characters that just did nothing wrong. I think it's a good thing. I think we needed more deaths like these throughout the whole franchise. I mean, the whole point is that the human engineered dinosaurs are no good. Then the final battle was a nice neat bow paralleling the very first movie with the T-Rex and Raptors teaming up against the hybrid of both of them, showing that you just can't beat the classics. That's my headcanon at least. And hey, that's the only time they didn't do a dinosaur in the storm scene. But overall, I did not like the knocking on the head of nostalgia. They got the goggles from the first movie. The fucking goggles had a scene. The cars at least made sense, and I would give the fact that they kept the original park spots pass. But we did not need to see the green goggles. It's the goggles. There is a line I'm willing to put down for nostalgia, and goggles are it. I read somewhere someone saying that Jurassic World is like a remix of all the Jurassic Park movies, this one at least. And honestly, I agree. I completely agree with that. It feels like it takes elements from them, and it's the only Jurassic World movie that I think gets away with it and has like a good reception because of it, because it's a reboot. I think a lot of people like this movie because it's more of a simple premise. It's just a theme park just shutting down. It's like a disaster movie, right? It's like watching 2012 and people just love shit happening and things getting ruined and facilities being destroyed, just things being destroyed. People love seeing that. And we get to follow characters suffering from that consequence. And I'm pretty sure this is one of the first reboot movies before things got like really oversaturated. My main gripe with this movie is that it feels all too familiar without any of the substance, the build up or anything, and the characters I did care about, they didn't really focus on them as much as the movie went on. This movie gets a 6 out of 10. It feels like I'm being harsh. Actually, yeah, a 5 out of 10. It feels like I'm being a little harsh, but I wasn't feeling it, unfortunately. It feels extremely soulless, and it's just Jurassic Park without the soul. But the dinosaur fight scenes are cool. Actually, no, back to a 6. I did enjoy the dinosaur scenes, which is the whole point of these movies at this point, especially this one. I just think watching it back to back did not do this movie any favors. But that doesn't matter, because dinosaurs, you know, who needs to care about this kind of stuff when there's the Indominus Rex? Look at that, so cool. And who can hate this movie with the main characters being the absolute best of any main character in all these movies?
Yeah, but if we get it out of the way, then we get it out of the way. And then we don't have to think about this one.
So
Then we just have to think about the second one.
Oh, it's even worse. It gets worse every time. They peaked at this.
I like how they just have regular seagulls here at this dinosaur zoo. It's regular
Can you
S.
stop spreading lies, you son of a bitch.
Motherfucker!
Yeah, that's what I was saying. The one is just perched. I saw it.
It's another seagull. You know, I like their colors a lot, but I think Fruit Loops. You know, unfortunately, it's just like a seagull. They just painted over it. They just painted over the guys.
The blue one, you think there's racism in there?
What the fuck are you talking about?
We're back on Isla Nublar, and instead of ending with a thunderstorm, this movie starts with one. And also ends with one. And for any Andor fans, Lonnie comes back from his spy stuff and gets eaten by a mosasaurus. Whale dinosaur. The intro was really fun, the best part of the entire movie, and I really wish they kept a similar energy. Instead of what we got, which was 2 and 3 movies meshed into each other, which you feel it. And I'll be honest with you, this is my least favorite Jurassic movie in the whole franchise. I just really can't sugarcoat it with you guys. We are honest people, aren't we? I hated this movie the first time, and I hated it the second time. It made me stop watching anything Jurassic related after this, which was just one movie, but you get the point. It lobotomized me so hard I had to step back from the franchise for a bit. Brooke had to force feed me the next movie. It was terrible. I don't think I can tell you how bored I was while watching this movie. Even with all the spectacles in the background, the island of Isla Nublar exploding, I felt nothing. I kept thinking, is there something wrong with me? Am I just in a terrible mood today? The whole thing about the whole dinosaurs dying, it could have been such an impactful, heartfelt concept. The only time the entire movie that I did feel something was when the Brachiosaurus was on the edge of the dock dying. We watched it die, and that was the one time I was like, damn, this is horrible. This is sad. I wonder if they expand more on it. And then it becomes a movie about fucking selling dinosaurs in an auction. I feel like, oh god, I'm becoming one of those YouTubers. Okay, no, I don't mean to I just can't give anything constructive about this movie at all. I can't. All I could just be like, this movie is bad. I did not like this movie. I was bored the entire time. That's all I can really say about this movie. I can't go just in depth into talking about it because I'm just gonna complain the entire time. I'm complaining right now. You're listening to me just ramble. But yeah, that one scene was such a great scene in a painfully annoying movie. The movie just kept being annoying. That was the best way to explain it. It's not only just the most soulless thing I've ever watched in my entire life. Well, not entire life. This is called a hyperbole, but it just, I hated it. I didn't like it. It was annoying to me. It wasn't funny. I don't know if it was trying to be. I know most of the time these movies aren't the greatest with humor, but just the added forced humor just made it feel more awkward to me. Like, a guy screaming is not comedy. It's not funny. This movie feels reminiscent to Jurassic Park 2 with the whole animal rights thing again, but with not just animal rights, but just if these animals deserve to live again or just go back to being extinct creatures, which is an interesting concept. But no, they just mix it up with a less interesting movie in the second half, and you could feel a tonal whiplash every time I've seen cuts in this movie. I sound so pretentious. Or once the whole Isla Nublar section of the movie was over, the problem wasn't just that it became a whole different movie. It became a whole different movie that was so boring. It was already just pointless, but it just became pointlessly boring afterwards. At least in the first part of the movie, it was a silly, classic Hollywood action sequence that just was non-stop. And then it became the most unmemorable thing I have ever seen. The worst part is that I love the concepts added to the movie. I love the idea of the Jurassic Age coming to an end again. And oh hey, my human clone theory came true, I guess. That could have been interesting too. A singular messed up looking dinosaur chasing people throughout a mansion, like in some horror movie, was interesting. The idea of dinosaur auctions, actually no, I don't like that one very much. That whole auction thing was certainly a choice that they made. I get what they were going for here, at least I'm trying to. I still think the military dinos are the dumbest thing of all time. I also found the execution of the whole auction thing kind of boring. You also just can't go from exploding Dinosaur Island to having business talk about selling dinosaurs to auctions. I feel like that's a big step down. You just can't start with the coolest fucking thing ever, or just coolest idea ever on screen and then just reduce it. If they were gonna put the whole dinosaur island exploding, they should put it at the very end, you know, make us care about it, and then we see it happen and it's like, oh shit. I feel like I'm stuck on this topic, but it was irritating to watch, and I truly mean that. We also get the Ian Malcolm cameo. It was 2 scenes, but it counted as one since it was just him speaking in some sort of courtroom for a few minutes, if that, like both the scenes combined. But they did use him in the trailers. I remember that. They advertised the hell out of him. It didn't even affect the movie at all, and they could have honestly just gotten any character out of it, but you know, money. We also have the main cast from the previous movie back without the siblings. I still don't care for the human characters at all. But oh, Blue the dinosaur is back, and Rexy, the T-Rex. We also have some other rich guy as the villain again. His death was pretty funny. He didn't stand out, and just like most Jurassic World villains, they just weren't intimidating. They weren't scary. They were just a nuisance. They weren't intimidating. They were just irritating to watch. I did think Henry Wu was an interesting mad scientist villain, though. I don't think it actually went anywhere, but I thought it was genuinely interesting. Going from movie 1 and creating the dinosaurs and becoming addicted to creating monsters. So that was one of the only pluses of the movie. It was unfortunately linked to such a weird clone child plotline. I would have actually warmed up to the whole clone thing if it wasn't just so cramped into the movie. Also, sorry if I'm like all over the place while talking about the movie. I think my brain somehow just got lobotomized halfway through the movie. I do think the concept of a horror movie with the one dinosaur hunting someone in a house or mansion would be super cool. It just had to be some mutant freakazoid raptor version of the indominusrex, which I don't really care so much about. The creature becomes a constant in the last third, I guess, so it was kind of fun. I just felt no tension because I couldn't attach myself to any of the characters. Some scenes looked cool though and really pretty. The scenery with the dinosaur in the kids' room was super cool, and some shots with the mutant that looked like someone's computer background. I'll hand the mutant dinosaur this. It had a lot of screen presence, but it was wasted on this movie, and she sort of just dies by getting a fatality from Blue, the dinosaur merchandise. It also feels like this movie ended 3 times. The island blowing up, the raptor boss, then releasing all the leftover dinosaurs which somehow populate the planet, because, well, why not? I won't even touch on the clone girl's line as she pressed the button to release the dinosaurs.
I had to. They're alive. Like me.
So yeah, the Jurassic World part of the overarching story finally happens. I can't go on rambling about this movie anymore. I just did not like it. So next movie. This movie was so fucking boring. I can't talk about it anymore. It's 3 out of 10.
I think there's someone hanging right there. That's it. Look, there's a gator.
Oh, the Florida people won't be impressed here.
Yeah, gator.
Drink Gatorade?
Shut the fuck up.
It's just oh my god, please stop.
How big questions scientists can ask?
It's just like a
I will
typical
push
Florida
you
movie.
over there.
I don't think these guys are docile, aren't they?
I don't think they are.
Well, we could test the theory.
Look up the factory.
Oh, there's a second one. I didn't realize.
Yeah, there's 2.
There's 2 of those.
They look dead.
Hold on.
Bad gator. Bad gator.
Maybe we should be yelling at the animals. Oh, there's another bird over there.
Where?
There's an orange one.
Oh, the monkeys. I haven't seen.
Oh, that's a monkey. That's not a bird.
I haven't seen that one in years. Like, unironically.
Monkey.
You take a
Okay.
photo. I haven't seen it.
Look at how fucking stupid that little guy is. He's
Stupid rat.
stupid little
Rat.
yeah.
There's one on the right.
Fucking idiot. There's one on the right. Oh yeah, there is a.
He's scratching his shit.
Oh my god. Look at this little guy. Oh, he's staring. Oh, he's going up. You don't really see monkeys around here.
What?
All right, I'm all serious. That thing is adorable. I want to point out how refreshing this was to watch. Nothing convoluted, it was just a family getting harassed by a Carnotaurus. I've been calling this guy Carnosaurus my whole life, and now I feel like my whole life has been a lie, and it's taken a total change of 1%. I really liked this short, and it gave me some hope for the next movie that Brooke had to drag me to watch for my own video, because the last one really killed my motivation to continue further. I was also more attached to the family in this short film than any of the actual movies. We also just get more promo footage of dinosaurs going around the world, and it has a really silly quote I liked. It's okay, sometimes nature's just like this. Overall, I enjoyed the atmosphere of the movie. It felt almost like a PG survival horror movie. As close as we have gotten since Jurassic Park 1. Then I felt a wave of hope pushing me into the next movie. And hey, I think the concept of finally getting dinosaurs all over the world is fun. So there's no way in hell that the next movie could be that bad. It was that bad. I don't even feel upset. I'm just empty. I honestly enjoyed watching this movie a bit more than Fallen Kingdom. Maybe it was because my expectations were so low that I don't know, I have nothing to say to this. I realize I have a lot less to say about this movie than I thought. So I just learned to have fun with the movie and how dumb this franchise has gotten. If anything, this movie is about 66 million times more outlandish than the last one. Did I mention this franchise was stupid and dumb? Anyway, this was honestly the movie to make me lose all motivation to even upload the video, since I really wanted to enjoy these movies. Maybe I'm the problem here for not enjoying a single one of these Jurassic World movies. And the issue here is I still have 2 more TV shows and 1 more movie left after this. I was just not excited anymore. But enough complaining for now. I will, because I'm just gonna end up like one of those YouTubers that just complain the entire video. I don't want to do that, alright? I might end up doing that. Don't count me for it, but I don't want to. So let's talk Jurassic World Dominion. This movie was meant to be a send-off for all the characters in this Jurassic universe. It brought back the cast from the previous 2 movies and the cast from the older movies like Ian Malcolm, Dr. Grant, and Allie.
It was obviously because of money and marketing purposes, but this movie also felt like two different movies with two different casts in the first place. I still did not care for the new cast of characters, and it was funny to see some characters get sidelined or written off the movie. They did keep the clone girl story, and that was a lot more touching to me this time around. I cared more for her character this time because I thought they went with an interesting concept with her character being her own mother. I was weirdly fun with her storyline, maybe not the execution for most of it, but I thought it was okay. It was something that I could latch on to for the rest of the movie. Of course, we have the original cast, but that just isn't fair. They're already beloved characters from their own respective movies. Ellie and Alan are kind of okay. Ian Malcolm definitely had just really stupid lines, but they were so perfect to me, coming from like Jeff Goldblum, that I just wrapped around to being funny again.
I had a dog once. Humped my leg so much, I got a callus on my shin bone.
What?
What the fuck?
Bananas.
Okay, alright. It really shows how impactful a line delivery can be. It was also nice to see an original cast of something all be together for an event. Despite how fan servicey it may seem and turns out to be, it was just nice having them all together. Speaking of dialogue, this reminds me that the whole movie had dialogue that just made me roll my eyes. I wanted to forget this movie had dialogue. How did we get worse over time? I'm really wondering what happened. As for the main villain, it's Steve Jobs. It's literally Steve Jobs with dinosaurs. I didn't know until after the movie, but apparently this was the same guy from Jurassic Park 1, which really didn't add anything to the movie, but yeah, it all wraps back to Jurassic Park 1 again. They even had a Dennis Nedry look-alike from the first movie. That was such an odd callback. I don't know why they did that. But I guess it's a thematic connection to the main villain. I don't know. Why am I trying to justify this? Or that his type of character is everywhere. I don't know. I can make a little meme of Dodgson being the main villain and nobody actually caring. His character was so lame besides his little crash out. That was kind of funny to see. He just starts like having a little tantrum at the end of the movie. It's like this 70-year-old man just Then the lead up to his death being similar to that of Dennis, meeting their fates by the Dilophosaurus. In this case, 6 of them because it's the 6th one in the franchise.
Dodgson! Dodgson! We've got Dodgson here! See, nobody cares.
Now the dinos. They weren't lying. There were definitely a lot more dinosaurs in this movie. A lot of dinosaurs. Dinosaurs in the snow. Dinosaurs everywhere. There were a lot of dinosaurs. I don't know if it's because I watched the extended edition, but I really liked the beginning showcasing the prehistoric dinosaur fight with the same dinosaur villain we'd be seeing throughout the whole movie. And well, not the whole, just throughout the movie. And footage of dinosaurs all over the world was awesome. I love seeing these guys, despite it feeling a lot more like National Geographic. So we also have the main dinosaur villain, Giganotosaurus, dumbest name ever. And I will be honest, I thought this was another mutant for most of the movie until my brain actually turned on for a second and realized that this was the same prehistoric dinosaur we saw from the start here. So I'm kind of surprised. This was the only one without the weird mutant dinosaur. The only weird anomaly here is the locust plot point, why? Who cares about the locusts? Nobody came here to see the locusts. And just the way everyone gets together at the end feels like it's supposed to be triumphant, but it's not. It isn't. It was nice seeing everyone together, but it really did feel like my brain got smushed together, and I'm trying to enjoy the bare minimum, which was watching dinosaurs do dinosaur stuff, like chasing people off rooftops. For some reason, just jumping on rooftops like it's nothing. I am surprised they haven't put a mecha T-Rex to fight against Rexy or something. We also have Blue having a baby. Animals and their boner. What was I gonna say? Animals and their owners having bonding moments are a soft spot to me, so I really enjoyed those moments with Owen and Blue the merchandisaur. I did really think some of the dinosaur designs are really sick, like with the feathered dinosaurs, the long claws. Those were awesome. Does it feel like this movie was made for a short set pieces and set in different locations with different types of dinosaurs though? Yeah. I had fun watching the feathered dinosaur scenes. At least I felt more tension watching those scenes than I ever felt in the previous movie. The swamp scene was just great. It takes around 1 hour and 44 minutes for the T-Rex to show up and 2 hours in the extended cut for the whole cast to get together for the last act of the movie. And you would think that would be a drag for me, but it was nice, because that meant the movie was coming to an end. The last part of the movie was just the cast redoing the last act from the first movie with a million callbacks. I did think the original cast meeting Henry Wu again was nice, and Ian Malcolm's reaction to it. It's like, it's you, it's always you, it's always him. I like the shots and scenery better in this movie than the previous two. Very on the nose with the franchise logo scene, but it gave the movie some flavor at least. Then Claire dramatically says run again, like in every other movie she's in. I didn't notice that until this movie. It also wouldn't be a Jurassic movie without the climax ending in an intense thunderstorm. to cover the CGI. Speaking of Henry Wu, going back to that topic, he also redeems himself in between 2 movies. Who he is in the last movie and who he is now is just not the same guy at all. He was like comically evil in the last movie, now he's just nature man. Henry Wu for some reason gets the John Hammond redemption arc, but it just makes no sense. Don't know where all that came from, but he cares about nature now, and we can excuse him for breaking some laws and some silly deaths. It's a Jurassic World movie, who cares? Who cares? It was nice seeing all the dinosaurs at the end just coming together in another National Geographic scene, finally ending all the character arcs. We could finally move on from this. I'm not usually as a negative person at all. I just couldn't get into the last movies. I'm sorry. For everyone who really did enjoy the movies, I'm so sorry for just bashing on it. I'm sure you're used to it now, but I'm glad you can enjoy it. So I give this movie a 5 out of 10. Keep in mind I didn't watch this alone, so it was a lot more enjoyable. I think I would have just sat in the dark, just depressingly just staring at the screen while watching this alone. But yeah, if I was watching this alone, the points would have just went down 1 or 2. I would tell you the results, but I don't think I'll be rewatching this again. So next.
It's chomp or be chomped.
What?
I've never been more happy in my entire life.
Oh my god.
I have nothing to say here.
What's that at the bottom? Dude, there's mice.
Oh,
Yeah.
little guys. I think it's so adorable. I love capybaras. Oh, there's 3 capybaras. There's 3 of them.
Just notice that?
I just noticed.
It's literally like a small cow.
They're,
It's underwater.
they're the chillest animals ever.
It looks so goofy though.
They're so stupid looking. I love them.
Look, he's just walking underwater. He's not even swimming.
There's a bird on the right.
If the birds climb on the capybara, would it be chicken, John?
Before we head into the movie, I decided to see the other canon Jurassic media, which is made up of 2 TV shows following the same group of characters, yes. Now, I don't think a single person besides me and a handful of people actually watch these shows. Pretty sure they were Netflix originals as well. And boy, do they have the visuals of one. Maybe that's just the result of a budget limitation, but boy did it take a second for the animation to grow on me. The first show, Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous, has 5 seasons of 8 to 12 episodes each, standard 22-minute episodes, you know, cartoon stuff. I was very aware this was made for babies and that I just wasn't going to enjoy this as much, but the first 2 seasons were a breath of fresh air for me. It blew me away, kind of. It didn't blow me. For all you guys who only care about the movie, you can skip around or just stick around for some reason. I watched all 9 seasons for this video, so I'm probably just going to talk about the whole thing here. I didn't really have to watch the whole 9 seasons, but here we are. Oh, and spoilers for those who care. So yes, I enjoyed the first 2 seasons simply because of its simple concept of a group of kids surviving on Dinosaur Island. That's pretty much it. It was fun, and the characters weren't so afraid to have actual character. We got the island nerd expert as the main character, and he gets into Jurassic World because he beat a Jurassic World VR video game. I knew what kind of show this was the second I saw that scene. The main kid, Darius, not leaving his room because of hyperfixation of dinosaurs is extremely real of him. He is the representation of the chronically online and slowly turning into an action hero because that's how we know that would evolve naturally. Then we have Kenji, the rich, depressed kid. Brooklyn, who's the famous YouTuber. Apparently Jenna Ortega voices this one. Didn't know that. Sammy the happy-go-lucky extrovert, and Yasmina the gloomy introvert. All the character archetypes to make a survival dinosaur show. Cool. As for the dinosaurs, there's a lot of dinosaurs in this series. It pays off. It was nice just seeing a simple dinosaur chase scene and dinosaur sequences. But I had my first complaint in just the first episode. They managed to play the Jurassic Park theme way more than the previous 4 movies combined. Just wanted to point that out before we continue. That stuff bothers me, it really does, even for a kid show. For the first season as a whole, the main antagonist dino is the indominusrex and Toro, the Cretaceous, I don't know, the name of that thing. It feels more like a rival to this gang and then its own movie, and then dies off screen because we know what happens. I thought the first season had some nice set pieces and had me going, I think I'm gonna enjoy this. Maybe that was because I was expecting the bare minimum at this point of the franchise. It was a guilty pleasure and even poke fun at the Jimmy Fallon tutorial. I can't believe I am saying this, but I liked the first season way more than the last 3 movies. There was no tension in the fact that I knew they weren't gonna kill off kids in a kid's show until one scene which made my eyes widen. They didn't really stick with it, but we almost had a child death. The first season was simple and it was a nice tie-in for the first Jurassic World movie. I also found it funny that all the adults were written off into a boat. Then in season 2, we get a full dinosaur island experience, mostly with the iconic Rexy. I forgot about that one character. Ben, he got a fake out death and it turns out to be a true dino survivor. He was this image. While everyone had fun being friends with each other and bonding, Ben also gets a dinosaur Pokemon, Digimon, Dinomon. I'm not clever enough for this. But he has a pet dinosaur and that's interesting. I mean, the dinosaurs have evolved from horror creatures, so it makes sense for this to be the next phase of dinosaurs, you know, be Pokemons. They do have actual human villains in this villain, and they were still annoying. It was a toxic couple as villains and dinosaur trophy hunters. They were still pretty engaging since the story was simplistic enough to enjoy, and it was fun to watch their downfall. This is the best the villains will get, unfortunately. I thought the season was pretty fun. You get the full extent of the Jurassic World place in just 2 seasons. But what do I know? I was watching this shit while I'm sleep deprived. Again, was surprised people actually died in the show, so that was nice to see. And then we get to season 3. It took a little bit of a nosedive, but it's still watchable. I really enjoyed the part where they kept trying to leave the island, but they just did not do that for like half the season. They keep going for the "we're only friends because the circumstances made us friends," and after this we won't be friends anymore theme throughout the show. I explained it in the worst way possible. That was like the most 5-year-old kindergarten shit. Oh well, whatever. Pushing down at that theme throughout the entire show, despite it being resolved a few times. They also go to the original park because, you know, can't have one of these shows without a bit of nostalgia. I just find it really funny that there's a lot of nostalgia stuff for an audience that would not feel as nostalgic for that stuff unless their parents showed them. It's like these little kids are like, what's a Jurassic Park? For example, they showed the shaving cream can from the first movie, and the guy talking to Dennis in the first movie picked it up and found it after some decades. That was such a weird nod to the first movie that I was just like, are the children gonna get this? Who is this made for? Are the 10 8-year-olds gonna be like, I remember that from the first movie? Are they really gonna be thinking that? And then the shitty raptor from Jurassic World 2 is back as the main villain for season 3, which really dampened my enjoyment of the season. Out of spite, I just did not like the season for that fucking dinosaur. And my dislike for the Fallen Kingdom movie slowly went into my head while watching it, and I really tried to not let that happen. And they do that thing again where they have the same set pieces as Jurassic Park 1 with the 2 Indoraptors. It was a slight step down from the simple concept of the first 2 seasons and started to almost feel like homework at this point. I will remain optimistic since I don't believe the Jurassic World could ever get bad again, and there's only 2 seasons left, so here we go. I give up. This franchise keeps doing it, and I don't know how or why every product they come out with makes me want to just pull my hair out. I don't know how the Lego ones are, but I'm not doing that. But back to the show. I'm doing both these seasons because they're essentially the same arc. Season 4 has the worst villain, I think, of the entire series, or the entire franchise. They got the stinkiest, most annoying Redditor-type character I've ever seen. You're supposed to dislike a villain, yes, but this is the most unenjoyable type of person to watch in real life. And at this point, they stopped giving as much of a shit about the dinosaurs because we got to see robot dinosaurs more than the actual ones. Yes, you heard that right. We mainly fight robot dinosaurs in this one. Remember when I talked about the Mecha T-Rex? I was joking. Motherfucker, they named it Brad X. And he says, this is the same guy that says, "You're a gamer?" They also have a very techie fake environmental thing where they'd go into little different man-made biomes. Then the next season, the rich guy's dad turned out to be a villain. And that part was kind of interesting. And the grin I had when the nerd died was needed after so much torture. I did really like the dynamics and conflict between the group and between family stuff. Between the family conflict. They also got some nice deaths like the Compies and Spinosaurus, which by the way, the Spinosaurus carried the last few seasons. It was nice seeing our girl, the super Spinosaurus again. It's like the Spinosaurus had a super soldier serum. It all comes really together with the adults serving the most useless storyline into the last second. Now, I can't get through the more minor things of the whole story, and some parts are really cute, don't get me wrong, but at this point, I want it to be over. And what they showed by the end really started to become more convoluted. The very convoluted thing I hated from the movies, and the weirdest gripe I have are the controllers. They used actual gaming controllers to control dinosaurs, and it was certainly a decision that they made for the series. The dinosaurs just stopped feeling like dinosaurs, so it really did feel like everything ended up being robots, which would have been cool if I wanted to see robots, but at the very end of the series, it doesn't redeem itself, but it made me have a good time with some dinosaur fights. The Spinosaurus versus T-Rex rematch, spoiler alert, the Spinosaurus wins again, until it sort of becomes this 2v1 thing, and then it ends with Darius being Ian Malcolm, basically on his TED Talk, also a cute little time skip. It ends with Fallen Kingdom with the dinos releasing all over the world, connecting all that fucking mess of a movie. All in all, I wished I liked the show more, and I thought it was a nice first 2 seasons. I never really watched cartoons, so I'm giving it some leeway here. There were a lot of budget limitations, and I'm sure they had to keep everything 10 times more PG, so I'll give them that. I thought the main characters were pretty good. They were just children, but they were still fun to watch, to just have character growth and develop, so that's just more than the movies ever had. When I say movies, you know what I mean. Anyway, it was charming at times, but still met the same fate as the movies, unfortunately. So next show. I think the show is still ongoing, but I did watch most of it. Well, I watched everything that came out. Am I going to continue the series when the next season comes out? Nah, I didn't really have much to say about this one. It starts off as a mystery show and becomes this thriller dinosaur show. does follow the ideas that Fallen Kingdom left us that we didn't really see in Dominion, and that is more dinosaurs around the world. Some little sub-stories were a lot better than the main story overall, which I just wasn't that thrilled to watch after the first season. The show just follows the escalation of things, and by the end, they have to stop a plane crash. It was nice seeing all the characters grow up as adults, though. I did really like seeing it, the growth in everyone. And there was a creepy, cool villain, main villain kind of, that was used very rarely, but she was really cool. It was the quiet whistle lady with the very crazy eyes. They brought in some dinosaurs from Dominion, which like the feathered ones I liked, and I guess kind of used them in a nice way in Italy or whatever. They still have the whole using dinosaurs as weapons plotline, and at this point I was just like, whatever. It was still mostly just different set pieces done around the world, and that's what people wanted to see, you know, just dinosaurs around the world. And it was a huge step up from seasons 4 to 5, the last show. The best scene in the entire series was when it was revealed that Ben actually has a really pretty girlfriend, but before that, they call the person that opens the door her grandma,
Scammer! Grandma scammer!
This is a running joke for 2 seasons I kind of thought was charming. But that's about all I have to say about the show, unfortunately. It is what it is. It was what it was. And there are some loose tie-ins to Jurassic World Dominion and Fallen Kingdom. Why can't I say the word Dominion? Dominion. I keep thinking of the fucking minions from this big. I don't know why I ended up talking about these shows for so long. Maybe I wanted to feel like I had to make the time spent watching it worth it here. Upon watching the entire thing, I've come to the conclusion that they just weren't my thing. I know. The kids shows weren't living up to my adult expectations. I know. Maybe that's my fault. Shocker. But I'm done. We have just one more movie left in the franchise so far, and I'm just hoping it restores my faith and brings me some solace after everything. So let's see.
This is that's what's at the end of the world.
Jesus.
The ice wall.
Yeah.
This is what the Jews don't want you to see.
That guy's aura farming. Look at him. Holy.
The wrong way though.
It's the wrong way.
Gold. Okay, these pictures are actually pretty interesting.
Dude, that one got a sick haircut. Look at that. Look, it's someone
Is it the Emperor?
It's that one surfing. You know that one surfing?
Happy feet?
Yeah. No. Surf's up.
Oh, okay. It was like surfing.
Oh yeah, that one. He's trying. He's breaking out of.
This is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. I hate it.
Gad's room.
Asmongold.
Oh my god.
I was gonna make a joke that it got worse, but at worst, it feels lukewarm. I dragged my mother to it in case I had to suffer alone, and of course, and we're both still alive, so there was no need for a rebirth. I don't think it was enough to save the franchise, but I suppose it was a rebirth. I came back with a simpler idea again, which is to make the story take place on an island again, with a simple fetch and quest mission. I think the most memorable moment was not during the movie itself, but the theater I was in. This old guy started crashing on this older couple, and it was so entertaining to watch because for some reason it ended up being 5 minutes throughout the entire ad break, and then after the whole movie ended, it still went on. It felt like watching a substitute teacher get super angry. You can imagine it was a little uncomfortable. The person next to me, I think, never saw a movie in their entire life. They were just on crack. They were jittery and jumping at every slight loud noise or thing on the screen. Glad she had fun though, happy for her. The movie was fun, by the way. I knew it wasn't going to live up to the originals, and that was fine. I just wanted to enjoy the movie. And I did, for the most part. Once again, it was split into 2 different movies, as in there are 2 groups that have nothing to do with each other. We got the mercenaries, which are pretty cool, and I thought we would stick with them, or just have one group in general, trying to survive Dinosaur Island 3. Then we have a little family, which is just there for thrills, and I'm fine with that. They were mostly enjoyable, and there was an arc. There was an arc. They did give us a really fun amusement park ride, the T-Rex scene, so they get a pass there. Is it unrealistic? Hell yeah, it is. Did I have fun watching this scene? Hell yeah, I did. As for the antagonist, we got the obligatory annoying rich billionaire villain again. Elise's death was awesome. I don't know how many times I've said that in the video, but wow. That says a lot more than I could ever say from critiquing anything. The movie also gave the dinosaurs actual animalistic traits, and I appreciate that. And that they at least try to attempt to tug at something emotional with the dinosaurs. I mean, kind of. It feels like a bonding moment between the human and animals, and they explain that it's different because they're in their natural habitat, right? Never mind, point taken back. I forgot the guy was a super dinosaur nerd and really wanted to see some dinosaurs in their living environment. But it was still emotional for me. I don't know why. The music, everything. Maybe I was just so happy and relieved in the fact that they tried here. I don't know. It's great. They also have biblically accurate spinosaurus, which is just tiny little things, and they did manage to get a few kills. I think they got the most kills in the movie. The start of the movie is something people probably clown on a lot, but I personally think it sets up the tone of the movie. I just don't think this movie is serious. I don't think it tries to be. A Snickers wrapper is the cause of the entire movie, the catalyst. Let's not pretend that it's gonna be more than that. I knew just to sit back and just enjoy the set pieces by that point. I didn't really care for most of the clips. The only scene I thought was great comedically was the scene where the lazy boyfriend goes for a piss and the dinosaurs just start killing each other behind him. That was pretty memorable for me. I like that one a lot. I think visually, the dinosaurs at least gave a more memorable presence for me. It fails in one aspect, and that's my personal preference. I really hope this would land more in the horror aspect, especially with the creepy D-Rex design, and this is coming from someone who hates the mutants. We only see that thing in the beginning of the movie and at the very end of it. I liked every scene with that demon Rex though, except for the one with the guy sacrificing himself and then surviving off screen. That was really annoying. I hated that. And it just made the ending a lot less rewarding. It could have been emotional there, but they just have always held back. I don't think they've ever killed someone I cared about in these movies. So there's a lack of tension that I really wanted to feel. Another whiny complaint I have is the fact they're bringing back the whole not interested in dinosaur thing again, which makes me so angry. We go to these movies about fictional dinosaurs for a reason, and we have so many autistic people that base their entire personalities on them for a reason. All love for you guys, by the way. I don't really have much more to say about this movie than that. The cast was great. They did what they did. You know, it's a blockbuster Hollywood movie. It's just an alright movie, and that's fine. At this point, after 4 movies of just the most soulless corporate thing, I have decided to just have fun with this one. Otherwise, I would just spiral while editing this video. So I had a good time with this one. 6 out of 10.
Ooh, dude, I got the best one. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, let go of me. Let go of me.
Supposed to use them.
Do the shock reaction again. Do the shock reaction. Oh my god. No way. We were just role playing for like a minute straight. Oh my god. That is horrifying.
How the fuck do you control them? You don't even have space for like, you know, your fingers.
That's hilarious.
Ooh.
Oh my god, he's fucking my phone.
You know when he gets to be, like he acts like he's you know?
It's not going in the video.
Yeah, this franchise reminds me of the One Great Tragedy. I don't really like or care to make videos complaining about stuff or bad-mouthing things people enjoy, but I really did not have a great time watching these, some of these, and I'm not exaggerating. I did not expect the whole franchise to spiral so hard. I just needed something to laugh at least. But you've heard it from me first. The Jurassic World movies suck. Ah, sorry. The Jurassic World movies suck. You've heard me rant and whine enough for a lifetime, and I'm sure you've heard enough of the same talking points over and over again, and it was nice seeing dinosaurs fight each other. Also, for those that really love this franchise, I say, I can't hurt you more than the fossils. Hopefully we change up the formula moving forward, maybe recreate world history with dinosaurs replacing people, like that movie franchise with the planet that belongs to the apes. I mean, who cares? They all make $1 billion anyway. I think I can easily rank it all at least, you know. You know what? Let's do rankings. That's the real point of the video now. For you guys that love rankings, it goes Jurassic Park 1, Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic Park Lost World, Jurassic World Rebirth, and then the shows. I don't have anything else to add. Add dinosaurs in space. See ya.
We're finally here. After this whole video, we're finally here. It's a pigeon. I found out that, oh my god! It's my favorite dinosaur of all time. I can't believe we did it. We did it after so long. I'm so glad that the park added this so I can end my video perfectly. He's in the shell. Yeah, he's saying subscribe. Gab, we're going to the ride. We're gonna go to the dinosaur ride.